So this virus has shown that there's actually truth to the 5 stages of grief. And we've got to watch them unfold before our very eyes on social media. But I've also identified a few more. Apparently, the media and the Democrats have made up this pandemic to oust Donald Trump and crash the economy. I find it amazing that CNN, Bill Gates, and Nancy Pelosi have the power to get the entire world to go on lockdown. But this is how people tend to cope with things they can't fully understand or more likely don't want to. I've seen numerous people flip on their idea of what's going on and how to handle it because of a YouTube video. But hey, at least we get to openly mock the Chinese without any issue. But we'll get into this more a little later. So for now, Maestro, put down that elitist propaganda pamphlet and hit that music.
Like, yeah, she's the kind of baby that you leave in the woods for the wolves.
It's also clear that John Travolta at this point is like 5 seconds away from blowing people for cab fare.
Yeah.
I saw you driving around with the fucking "Does this ass make my truck look big" sticker on it for fucking for 3 years.
All right, and welcome back to another remote episode of Needless to Say. I am here with Craig and Dave, two guys who make you want to zoom out.
Wow. Wow.
You guys zoom bomb us without, while being invited.
We've resorted to bad dad virtual jokes.
That's it.
Bad dad virtual jokes. I like it.
You're absolutely right. That was a terrible way to bring in the show. I'm sorry. I'm here with Craig and Dave, two of the ugliest motherfuckers I've ever known in my life.
That's so much better.
Way better.
Way better. Oh, my God. I can just picture, like, my son hearing that joke and looking at you like Cersei Lannister.
All right, but do you know what's worse? When you come back at me with Game of Thrones humor. What the fuck was that?
That's at least you said humor.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
hey,
Oh.
whoa, hey.
So what's going on, guys?
I don't know.
Been busy, a lot going on?
I'm trying to Google. I'm Googling Cersei Lannister, and apparently the way she looks is funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
Says the guy in the Ghost Hunters camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I look like I'm in like a, what do you call it, one of them surveillance videos.
It does.
Well,
I wish it was fucking blurry.
That's true. I am also ugly.
Yeah.
I admit it. What's going on? Dave, why don't you start off? Tell us what your fucking lame ass did this week.
No, I didn't do much. The highlight of my week, you guys will enjoy, but my wife has been watching Ozark. I don't know if I know, Brad, you started watching it.
Yeah.
And every time I come upstairs from my office, she's watching this show, but the fucking TV screen is just black. I think the entire fucking series is just blackness with voices. Like, I know the sun. Right, I know the sun comes out in Chicago and fucking Missouri. I don't know why every scene is just in darkness.
It's supposed to be some kind of weird gothic thriller. They've set the lighting to basically you assume these people never pay their bills.
Right. Right.
There isn't a lamp on anywhere in this county.
No.
Ozark, man. I'm watching it too. I kind of come to the realization though that people are watching it because they're told it's good and they're too embarrassed to admit that it isn't.
Yeah, I'm not. I tried. I watched a few episodes and I'm like, it's Jason Bateman doing what he does. It's being Jason Bateman.
Yeah. I liked the first season a lot. First season was really good. I was like, this show is good. It's got a lot of potential. Second season came along. I started watching it. I was like, it's kind of just more of the first season. And the third season seems so far. I haven't watched the whole thing because I'm not. I'm watching episodes of Sopranos before I watch that right now.
You're
know
not
what I mean?
sold on it.
Yeah, I'm not fully sold on it. I'm like, it's good, but it's.
My wife likes it a
More of the
lot.
first
I'm telling her flat out though, the name of the show should be called Faking Bad. It's following every step of that formula,
Yep.
and it's not doing anything particularly well.
No,
It's really trying, but you can tell the one difference was and I'm not going to get into a whole Breaking Bad thing, but Walter White started out as somebody you rooted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as the show went on and you realized that he was really just living out his own deep, dark fantasies, you started to root against him.
Yeah.
But either way, you watched a character evolve. These people come right out of the gate. Not one member of this show is likable.
Right.
If they all fell into a crater, okay, show's over.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it.
They're all bad people.
Yeah.
They're all bad people. There's no redemption to be had. Maybe Ruth. Maybe that blonde chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, I just feel like the whole show is a bunch of people. They don't explain ever why you have to go to the Lake of the Ozark. What is so special about this place that it's such a hotbed for crime?
It was. He went there. It was still laundering the money.
It was the very first episode.
Yeah.
Right, and his partner said it right before he got off.
Yeah.
I remember that, but now they're there.
Yeah.
And there's no indication that it's anything other than a Midwestern redneck vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a summer town.
Yeah. That has a big.
But remember when they said
farm.
all the money? Well, yeah. Guarantee you, there's a heroin farm right behind my house. I have no doubt that people are growing poppy anywhere they can.
Yeah.
That's not the surprising thing. The surprising thing is how deeply rooted the crime goes.
Yeah.
And yet they never. The summer came and went, and all of these supposedly rich people who summer on the Lake of the Ozark, came in and left, and there was no indication that anything special had happened, or that some special people came into town. The guy had church on the water, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, for me, like I haven't watched it because I was. It was just like I'm not a huge fan of Jason Bateman, and every time I've seen a scene, it's been pitch black. And I'm like, baby, do you want me to close the blinds? She's like, no, I like the sunlight. I'm like, yeah, but all you can see is like the side of a nose, someone's ring glimmer, and like the right. I said the side, not the whole screen, Brad. But it was just, I don't know, it's just weird, and to me it was like, all right, it's a bunch of people making bad decisions, doing bad shit, and I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it was nothing caught me. So I was like, what time is Oak Island on? I'm busy.
Yeah. And I've said this before on this show a bunch of times that there's a huge fascination with the bad guy, with bad people. You know what I mean? Like this huge fascination that they've become the person
The
that
anti-hero?
you're rooting for. Yeah. And I mean, I get it in certain sense, and I think what that was eventually over the years you get, the villains were cool and whatever, whether it's Star Wars, Darth Vader's cool and all this stuff. And I think they were like, let's switch the formula up. Let's make these bad people, let's show their good side, and people will root for them. And,
Well, because I think it's like what Walter White did.
yeah,
I think people at home are living out their deep, dark fantasies. The guys who have arguments with people in the shower.
yeah,
And they have the perfect comeback that they worked on all night in their head.
Yeah.
And they replay those situations. These characters are basically allowing them to live out their criminal dark side fantasies,
yeah,
and while still giving you as clear protagonist.
And that's
But-
Jason Bateman.
But Ozark doesn't have one.
No.
I want to see them all fail.
yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
It's not going to be like The Walking Dead. If we kill Daryl, we revolt or whatever. I think that you can kill anybody on the show, and it would be a marked improvement, especially his god-awful ugly daughter. Seriously, how many other people tried out for this role? Was Kevin Smith's daughter invited to this audition?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
She looks like a bird that just hit a bus. She's so gross.
Like I told you guys, she looks like Pat Tillman, the deceased football player.
Pat Tillman now.
Yeah,
Right? That girl's got sharper corners on her face than the fucking office I'm sitting in.
yeah, yep.
Like
With
she could
squinty
turn her
eye
face sideways. She could like split lines of cocaine with her cheekbones.
I told Melissa she looked like the Sphinx.
She
I don't know if that's an insult or not. I guess in Egypt they think that's pretty hot, but not feeling it here.
Right? If she goes out for a run and she gets like overheated, cars are gonna start stopping right in front of her because she's gonna look like a fucking traffic sign.
She actually looked like some of JJ's paintings in the beginning of Good Times. He's like really long and narrow.
Yeah.
I wish she'd keep her head under the water.
Yeah. She's the kind of baby that you leave in the woods for the wolves. But anyway, that's what's been going on with my wife's week. The highlight of my week, and I think this says a lot about where we are. The highlight of my week was I went in the bathroom yesterday. Right? Now
this is coming.
Now, well, before I tell the story, let me preface this with, I've come to learn that my wheelhouse is toilet humor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Why try something new?
Yeah.
I have plenty of shit and piss stories. Fuck it, I'm going to stick with it. So I go into the bathroom yesterday, and I start to take a piss. And I know you guys have done this. As you take a piss, you let a fart out.
Yeah.
Just happens.
Yeah.
You're relaxed, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Ain't no
But this
thing.
time, here's the thing. I was pissing, and I started to fart, and the fart went on just like a half a second longer than I expected. So then I thought to myself, let's see how long I can push this. So I'm pushing as much pressure as I can to get the piss out and push this fart, and I managed to make the fart extend as long as the pee. So I farted for the duration of my pee. I was able to fart as long as I pissed yesterday. And that was the proudest moment I've had in 2 weeks.
Craig, it's been a few weeks. Can we get some applause?
Yeah.
Can we get some applause for Dave?
Yes. Oh. Nope.
No, we can't.
Here.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. The worst part was I walked out of the bathroom and I wanted to be like, hey, you know what I just did? But I was looking at my wife and 3 kids and I was like, hey.
Now, if you can do that again, but this time add a third element. I want you to hum like an old classic Disney song.
Next week, fucking, we find out Dave dies of fucking embolism.
Oh,
Because he's
Nobody wants to hear about some guy farting, pissing, and whistling "Song of the South" at the same time.
No,
I do,
humming. I do.
Oh,
as
humming.
Well. Yeah, I want you to hum like just like something from The Lion King. And when that song hits its crescendo, I want your piss to get stronger. I want you to look like the fountain in front of the Bellagio. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
Start pissing in Morse code.
Start dotting your I's and crossing your T's with it.
Yeah. So that was the highlight of my week.
Outstanding.
Yeah. That's what I had. Other than that, man, it's been the same old shit. You know. It's been.
I've had a weird week myself, man. The highlight of my week was not throwing up. And that's
all right.
Jesus Christ.
I decided to go dry this week. I realized we're all joking about, the whole world is joking about how everything is drink, and I don't know what day it is. Well, I realized.
Geez, I'm sorry. I'm relieved now. I was worried Melissa was going to be hobbling around the house.
Funny. Yeah, he got on me for humor. Anyway.
Sorry.
But no, I decided on last Saturday I'm going to just take like 5-6 days off. I just want to flush it a bit. And I did. And then I had a couple drinks on Thursday night and for some reason couldn't get to sleep because my room was spinning. And I don't do this.
Yeah.
I don't do this.
Did you drink anything unusual?
No, the seltzers I've been doing. And but the thing is I've also been dieting. So I think there was a lack of food in my stomach.
Oh, yeah.
And so my body's adjusting. I didn't care. It was a fluky thing. I chalked it up. Maybe I had one too many. Last night, I had 2 beers. One of them was the beer that put me out on the Empyrean Lights episode.
Oh.
Yep.
It knocked me on my ass. I had that, and I had one other strong triple IPA, but I had them at 2 o'clock in the morning, once again with a fairly empty stomach. I went to sleep, and then I woke up at 6:30, violently sick again.
Oof.
So there were 5 days, however, where I didn't do that. So, hey,
Chalk those up as a win.
That's a majority.
Yeah.
That's
Cheers.
a majority. Other things, real
Man.
quick. I hope Fred Durst dies, and I hope Travolta dies with him. Those seem like arbitrary statements. In a few minutes, you realize just how relevant they are.
Yeah.
And that's all for me. Craig?
Well, remember my review from last week? Yeah, that. But that's it. I mean, other than I started getting pretty angry throughout the week with all these, these conspiracy theories flying around, all this stuff that goes on. They just get blown. Some of them might have. There's always a touch of truth to some of them. You know what I mean? And you have all this shit going on, but it gets so blown out of proportion, and then people look at them and take them as fucking gospel, that it just makes me fucking crazy. And all that shit was going on, so I was like getting mad, But we'll get into that later. But I just continue again. I was just watching movies, that's all I've been doing is watching movies all week. Play some video games, watch some movies, do something, clean the fucking bathroom and go back and watch movies. That's like that's all,
Jesus.
it's so monotonous and ridiculous. I'm losing my fucking shit. But
Are you even starting to run out of like good bad movies to watch?
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a difference between a good bad movie and just an awful movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Well, it's funny when I start when you look at my like Amazon, my Fire Stick, when it says Amazon recommended, and I look at these recommended movies and I'm like, wow, I'm awful.
What are they all like self-help videos?
Yeah. No, it's just all my recommended movies are all bad movies from the 70s and the 80s. Some from the 90s. They'll throw some asylum films in there, because I watched some fucking monster movie or something, But that's what it is. I love those movies, I do, because they're just fun to watch for me. They bring me back to when I was a kid, because I used to go to the Bristol Cinema and watch like Death Stalker. I went and watched that in the
Death
fucking
Stalker.
I went and watched that in the theater.
That was a real movie. That
Yeah.
sounds like a movie title from a movie pretending to have a movie in it.
No, you got to watch
Stalker.
Death Stalker. Death Stalker 2 is worse.
Dude, you no doubt.
Yeah,
I imagine they blew their load with all their creativity in the first one.
yeah.
But if I was your Amazon account, it would be like, would you like to watch like live feeds from the abortion clinic?
Yeah.
Like you have absolutely the worst taste in movies. I think we've all humored you enough.
Yeah.
And again, I'm angry for a reason, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for
Basically,
Amazon.
fuck you, Craig.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Amazon to send Craig an edible arrangement because they feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Here's some sympathy fruit, you loser.
But I know what a good movie. I know what a good movie is, and I watch good movies.
Do you?
But I do. But I enjoy the bad ones. I enjoy the bad ones. I enjoy those 80s, 70s sci-fi horror. I like those movies. They're fun.
Well,
I'll go back to the 50s and 60s and watch those horror movies.
See, I do the same thing too. Like I joke, like I'll watch Svengoolie on Saturday nights because they always play those old movies. But like, those movies, they weren't trying to be bad, but they also knew that they weren't like the blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
They understand that there was a certain amount of camp and they weren't too serious, but they still tried to make a movie that you could watch.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they were limited by the technology and the special effects, but there are some movies that are just fucking bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like outright bad. That set out to not be bad or thought that they were bigger than their own britches.
Yeah, like a perfect example is someone like Ed Wood, who he thought, he was like, no, this is good,
Yeah.
like this is good. This is going to be scary, and then you watch it, and you're like, what? It doesn't make sense. It looks like shit, and you're fucking nuts, buddy. But that's what makes those bad movies good.
Yeah.
Rather than like some of these, like I watched one the other day. It's an asylum film, and it was, they knew it's bad. They made fun of it. It loses it. You know what I mean? It's not.
Okay.
It's it's not as. I mean, it's still. I still enjoyed it to an extent, but it's like, all right. I don't. But I just like that cheesy shit. I do. I like it. But
Yeah, and in case you didn't hear me before, fuck you, Craig.
Yep. So what happened is because of this week, I decided.
Wait, hold up. Hold up. Now, you're not getting off that easy. You have a word of the week.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, he was going to try to talk through this whole episode and hope that we forgot.
Yeah.
All right, your word of the week, and I'm even going to write it in the outline as we go. Your word of the week
there
is
it is.
nescient
Nescient.
or nescient, depending on what
Nescient.
region you're from. If you're from Lake of the Ozark, it's probably nescient. So you have until the end of this episode to not only use this word in a sentence, but it's got to show me.
It sounds
Okay.
familiar to me, but I've heard it
Well,
before.
it's using letters that you've seen before. I know
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
exactly.
He's looking at it and he sees Nestle.
yeah.
But if you want to play along at home, the word is nescient. It's Nescient.
I've heard
See
it
if you can
before,
use it
but,
without cheating. No, you have not.
I've heard that word
Nope.
before.
You have not.
I'm not saying I know what it is.
No, you have not heard it. Nobody in your family used this on a Sunday morning right before they got up at 5:50. Didn't happen. Fuck you, Craig.
I'm so mad at me still. I love it.
You have no idea. I tried to bottle it for the sake of the show, but Craig, I want you to walk into traffic wearing nothing but Vaseline.
So Brad, what's with all the hostility towards Craig? Why are you so mad?
Okay, we had an idea. Hey,
No.
why don't we?
Oh,
What,
go
me? No,
ahead.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
We said, why don't we review a movie collectively? Like do a little mystery science theater thing. It'd be fun. Maybe we do a little video treatment of our heads silhouetted against the movie. Get some clips from public domain. And so Craig decides instead that this would be a perfect time to watch that stupid Fred Durst directed John Travolta abortion known as The Fanatic. And I said, there's no way in hell I'm going to watch this. And Craig guilts me at like 3 a.m. He guilted me. Because I wrote him flat out. I said, I'm not going to watch this thing. And he said, oh, what do you mean? You're not going to play along? And he guilted me into watching. I want my time back.
No.
This is time theft.
I was like, I did guilt him. I was like, oh, I guess I'll just throw my notes away.
A smart man would have just opened up the outline and seen he hadn't done shit on this outline. But I was just late enough at night that I fell. I bit.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fuck you, Craig. God awful movie. Oh, Dave, take it. I can't talk.
Yeah. So I mean, we decided that we're gonna kind of let Craig create our kind of flow tonight and decide what we're doing. And he thought, hey, remember that movie we talked about last year that made $1,000 at all the theaters it was released in?
It made
Total?
It made $3,153 in 52 theaters.
And that breaks down to?
It had a budget of it broke down to about 6 people per theater.
We halved a full theater.
Right?
Yes.
And the best its budget was $4 million, so its net loss was $3,996,847.
What could go wrong, I said.
What could go wrong?
Right. So Craig's like, hey, remember that movie? Let's watch that and talk about it on the show.
Yep.
So, Craig, since this was your fucking idea, I suggest that you explain, just in case we're not speaking to one of the 18 people in America that went to go see it.
60
Why don't you explain
people.
what this tour de force performance by the soon-to-be-dead John Travolta is? Tell me all about it.
All right. So before you completely fucking bash, let's explain what's going on here, how this all came about, though, too. Because we did discuss doing that whole movie thing. We talked about watching a movie together and recording it. But this all came out because we decided to do this captive audience thing, like where one person takes complete control of the outline, does it. The other guys have nothing to do with it. Then we do the show. And
Well, we have no choice. We don't change anything either.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that's important to mention. Now, you were asking for feedback. Right away, Dave and I were like, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, they
This
shut
is
me
your dream outline.
down. Yeah. Well,
That's
so
it.
Have
all right,
at it.
settle down. It's not my dream outline.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Essentially, Brad and I decided that we wanted to do a bad episode.
Yeah.
So we
Worse.
just let you. Yeah.
Let me run with it.
But go ahead. Yeah.
But, So it also, so I decided, because we talked about doing the movie thing, and I said, let's review a movie. We had talked about this movie before, so I said, let's watch this movie because it's bad, you know. And so I watched it that first night. Dave watched it. Brad was kind of refusing to, didn't want to watch it, but then I like he said, I guilted him into it, and he watched it.
Yeah, I watched it in the morning, and Brad ended up watching it shortly after I finished it, I think.
Yeah.
So it was fresh on my mind. Yeah, it was fun to see Brad's reactions to watching it.
It was, Brad was giving us real time reactions, and the best was I knew like shit was going down. And I was like, he was getting angrier and angrier as the movie went on.
I actually went upstairs. Go ahead.
No. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking wait. You sent one part of the text. I'm like, he's all right. He's near the end now. And I sent Dave a text, and I'm like, he is about to be fucking furious. I can't
We make
wait.
jokes about how you don't know me that well.
Yeah.
Or I'm not giving you no, you knew me perfectly. I stormed off. I was wearing headphones because I didn't want my kids to hear this abortion of a movie in the next room. And I'm wearing headphones, and I literally grabbed them and threw them down. Making a point to no one. Fred Durst, John Travolta, they didn't know I did this.
Yeah.
But I had to. There was something inherent in me that said, throw your own property and destroy it.
There was.
You just wanted to break stuff?
Well, I think I made that joke yesterday too.
You did.
Yeah, you said
I recycled it.
You wanted to break my fucking face. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was funny is I went upstairs and I said to Rand, I'm like, I just watched that movie, and I think our marriage might suffer because I'm in such a foul mood from watching it. But then I said, but wait, Brad's watching it. Let's watch his texts come in as he sees it. So we were together. Our entertainment was watching what Brad was typing.
Okay, we've done the Birdemic thing, and we've lived through that 7 or 8 times on this show. We don't have to anymore.
No.
The new Birdemic is The Fanatic.
Yep.
Starring John Travolta. Seriously, it's okay to fly that plane. I wish he was flying Kobe's helicopter.
So, but let me give you a quick read through Brad's text to us.
Wait.
God,
Before you do that, why don't you give us the premise of the movie?
All right, so the movie is about a autistic man called Moose, played by John Travolta.
So immediately you can relate to this movie.
Yes, yeah, and he's a huge like horror movie fan, and he collects autographs. He does all this stuff, and he goes around. And his favorite actor is coming to a signing at a local comic book like collectible shop that he frequents all the time.
Yep.
And from there, it kind of goes wrong, and then it just goes off the rails. But not the plot goes off the rails. The whole fucking movie goes off. The directing,
everything.
But it was great because so when Brad was getting towards the end, he sends to me. So
I love that this movie's turned into what Brad had to do.
Yeah.
This movie's more about Brad watching it than the movie itself.
Yeah.
It's a movie that Craig can relate to more than anybody in the world, and yet this is still about my reaction to it. When he went through the descriptor, he's a guy who's a little autistic and collects autographs. I'm like, oh, I don't know anybody like that.
Yeah. But it was great because when he started, he's mentioned one point in the movie. I don't want to give out any spoilers. So I wrote...
Spoilers!
Oh, shit, he's getting close. And then you wrote something else, and I wrote, just wait. And then minutes later, Brad texted, fuck this. Let me bandage those boo-boos. The maid is still dead in the yard. Then, after a few minutes, oh, give me a fucking break. I hate you. I fucking hate you so much. And in the before that all started, that's when I had texted Dave. I'm like, oh, he's getting to the end. He's gonna be fucking furious.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spoil this shit right now. First of all, at no point does John Travolta resemble anything close to actual autism.
No.
He did
Not
like
even close.
4.5 minutes of research for this film. So this movie hates autistic people. Fred
Yeah.
Durst hates autistics.
Yeah.
It's also clear that John Travolta at this point is like 5 seconds away from blowing people for cab fare.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine this man working anymore. He doesn't have another Look Who's Talking / Pulp Fiction comeback in him.
No.
It's over.
No, it's over.
It's over.
It's over. He's done. The best text was after that. So after that big flip out Brad had, Dave wrote, so Brad, what'd you think? And Brad just responded, fuck you. And then that was kind of ended the conversation. But yeah, so this movie, I mean, like we talked about it already, that it opened in 52 theaters and made $3,153. With a budget of $4 million. Now that's fucking.
Where did that money
god-awful.
go? There was one location.
There wasn't much location shots. John Travolta probably made $1 million to do that movie.
Ugh.
I would say they had
That
to
was
give him
probably
roughly
most
around there.
of
The budget.
most of the budget was probably on
Location.
actor salary.
Yeah, location equipment, location shots, and paying the crew, and then someone to edit the movie.
What
and stuff.
crew? There was one guy in a car with a camera watching John Travolta stand up on a Vespa, because that's what autistics do. They all ride Vespas.
And rocking back,
That's it.
the rocking back and
he-
forth and shit.
The
Yeah.
back and
So
forth
bad.
rocking. Oh, it was an insult to like autistics are watching this movie. I guarantee you, $1,800 was just one bus of autistic people.
Because he wasn't. That was the thing, is they made it. He lived alone. You know. He was,
with no
so-
supervision.
Somehow.
which is he lived alone, and totally took care of himself and had a job. Like he was a
Yep.
he was a street performer. He went out and played an English Bobby. On the that's what he did. But the thing was, they crossed him between. They went too much with somebody who's like functioning like someone has like Asperger's or something like that. They're functioning. They can still do their thing. They just maybe sometimes are socially awkward or have, or they might not even be. But certain situations make them uncomfortable. Whatever it is, he went from played like that. And then fucking completely fucked up, and then that, and then it was too much. There was too much, and I know that like people have, like autistic people have tics, like the rocking back and forth. But that's usually it's but they just overdid, and it was like they've never met a fucking autistic person in their life, either one of them.
Yes, they have. Fred Durst directed the movie.
But
Jesus Christ!
It was fucking insulting, I thought, to
and
autistic people.
The worst part for me about that aspect of the movie was that not one other character in the movie acknowledged the fact that he was autistic.
No, they never said.
They treated him like he was just some crazy person, and every single person knew he was autistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Including his friend. He has this female friend that serves as the narrator for this film because it needs one.
Yeah.
And I would have rather just listened to an audiobook of this girl talking. But she actually played no role in this movie whatsoever.
No.
You're led to believe in the beginning that she is supposed to be like his kind of distant guardian.
Yeah.
She keeps an eye on him. She makes sure he stays out of trouble, except that she completely failed at all that.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
At no point, she sneaks him into a party where he gets kicked out.
Yeah.
Then he tells her basically what his plan is. And she goes, I don't know if I do that. And then we don't see her again until the end of the movie when his hand has been shot off by an irate actor who has basically unknowingly spent the night with Moose.
But she provides useless narration.
Yeah.
And it was, you could see what Fred Durst was trying to do with the narration, was trying to make it like almost like profound and fucking, and he even tried to use, there was a quote he said in the fucking thing that I was kind of like, because he tried to make it like cool. He was like, she says, Moose, he didn't just cross the line, he nuked it. But like the way she said it, I was like, it was so fucking corny and stupid, but you could see what he was trying to make a quotable part to the movie. He was trying to make something
Fred
quotable.
Durst, in the beginning of the movie, opens the movie with, like, when they write the quote on the screen of the character in the movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
It was a guy we haven't met yet.
We haven't even met the character.
Why are you quoting a fictional character from this movie?
Yeah.
How I'm like, oh, I'm riveted now. That means a lot to me. Means shit.
Yeah.
That movie was shit.
You didn't even know who the character was. It had a fake name. The movie starts, there's a quote from a fake person. You don't know who that person is. You know? But then he opens the movie with, I have to say, probably one of the greatest opening lines of any movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is when I knew I was in for a bumpy ride.
Yep, and the opening line is
Moose walks into the comic book store and he walks up to the guy behind because they never give you that guy's name, I don't think. But he walks up to the owner of the comic book store and he goes, "I can't talk too long. I gotta poo." And then then stays there for 20 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, arguing about a vest.
Yeah. Yep. It was just it was I saw what he was trying to do, and there was potential that you could have made a decent movie out of that.
No, you couldn't have.
No, I'm
Robert
saying,
De Niro
like,
did it years ago in The
Well,
Fan.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Yep.
And that was what, De Niro and Snipes, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I thought of too. But the more I looked at this movie, the more it occurred to me it was a remake. This was a remake of Selena, but he recast the maid as with John Travolta as Simple Jack.
But
This was awful.
one word to the wise to fucking John Travolta is he should have heeded fucking Robert Downey Jr.'s fucking advice is never go full retard. Because he just ended his fucking career, man. Because that was
I'm telling you right
fucking
now, this
awful.
was a remake. It was a remake of a violent shit I had yesterday morning.
Yeah, I mean,
This was the movie version of Fred Durst's music career. He was a musical retard trying to fit in with the music society that didn't want anything to do with him.
yeah, yep.
Oh, when he covered The Who, and he's like, I'm rebranding Limp Bizkit, and he made Limp Bizkit one word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
hate
then
that man.
and then he directed the video with Halle Berry in it, and it was terrible as well.
yeah.
I hope Fred Durst got AIDS from sucking off John Travolta, who got AIDS from sucking off Kanicki in '79. The only thing worse than this, oh God, the only thing worse than this movie was the fact that Travolta's son died of a seizure.
He knew the movie was coming out.
Yeah, he didn't. He was just embarrassed. He didn't want to deal with it anymore. He fucking
He's a failed pilot, and he named his kid Jet. That kid was going to be a seizure for sure.
yeah.
No way in hell.
This was a movie.
Oh,
It was
fuck him.
It was supposed to be a real like thriller suspense,
Yeah.
and it generated zero of those two qualities. You knew he was in the
Yep.
house when the scene, the guy goes into his closet to grab a jacket, and he's
Yeah.
standing behind the clothes in the closet, but you already knew he was in the house. So there goes that suspense. Then somehow he gets from the closet to under his son's bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without being seen. Now, this is a guy who walked
heard.
into things all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And it was just, and then he like hangs out in the house, takes pictures with him, and then he takes pictures with the guy while the guy's sleeping and posts them to his social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he knows how to use social very well. He's got
Yeah.
a nice phone.
So
He's
'cause-
clearly got semblance of normalcy in his life. Are we supposed to believe that this actor was his trigger? It just getting this guy's attention
Yeah.
is what set him off.
Yeah.
And none of that was illustrated because that's called narrative,
yeah. And what happened
and that's called
was,
writing.
yeah, and
Exposition.
he got triggered because the guy basically told him to go fuck himself when he was
Right.
asking him. He was waiting. The guy ended up having to deal with his wife and his kid in the parking lot at a
Yeah.
signing in the comic book store, and he follows him out back. You know what I mean? And the guy basically tells him like, "I'm done signing. Like, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Then he just starts following him around, following him to his house and shit.
Well, I'm going to sign your face with my fist, and that's an autograph you don't want to take home.
Yeah, that's a collectible.
Another quote.
Yeah, that's a
Another
collectible
quote.
you don't want to take home. Yeah.
That was it. Thank you for correcting me because nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe Craig wasted ink on this.
Yeah. But then he did then even Fred Durst tried to do those fucking artsy hand drawn act transitions
Yep.
that weren't even.
They didn't even introduce him until the last third of the movie.
That's what I mean.
Right.
We were already in the second act. The second act was over, and you start to introduce these weird fucking hand drawings to separate the segment. It was fucking stupid. And then
Wait a minute. Did you handwrite these notes?
yeah,
Oh, my God. How did you do that?
I was watching the movie and I was writing
Those
them
fucking
down.
club fists of yours. You look like a Lego figure.
But
It's all just emojis. They're just different stickers on a blank piece of paper.
it's like you ever see when Charlie would in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Charlie writes himself notes and leaves them around. It's just like pictures of cats and weird shit, like lines and hieroglyphs. That's what it looks like. But but I mean, and then of course, the actor gets in the car with his son to drive his son back to his mother's house, and they're driving, and he's like, "Hey, want me to put the radio on?" The kid's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What? How about I'll pop in some Limp Bizkit? You want to hear some Limp Bizkit?" The kid's like, "Yeah," and they put a Limp Bizkit song, and he's like, "Yeah, I used to love this stuff." Well, and I'm like, "Really? Did you just do that? You fucking
These guys were hot
piece
when
of
I was
shit."
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
fucking
fuck
piece of
you,
shit.
Fred Durst.
Yeah. I was like, what
Fuck
a piece of shit.
you.
But yeah, so the character Hunter Dunbar was his name. That's his actor. The actor was big.
The
He was
actor, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was he was like a horror movie actor, like an action hero and horror movie actor. And he ends up fighting the guy, not fighting the guy, but he goes into his house again a second time.
Yep.
He accidentally kills the fucking maid in the yard.
Yep.
He kills the maid on the first time he goes into the house, then leaves the body in the backyard for an entire day and night cycle. She's just laying dead in the backyard in broad daylight all day, through the night, through the entire next day until he goes to bed. Nobody noticed the dead lady in the backyard.
And considering how tough he was on her in the beginning of the movie, you think he would have noticed she hadn't shown up for work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then John Travolta, again, living on his own with minimal supervision, says, "Oh, you've got a bloody nose. You better go fix that."
Yeah.
Dead body at his feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about the fact that John Travolta goes into the house and brushes his teeth with his toothbrush?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, why? What the fuck? What
Why?
the fuck was that all about? He
And then-
looks at his
and then-
toothbrush and yeah.
And then he
kissing him on his
grabs
forehead.
he grabs his ear and smells it because that's his tick, but now he does it to someone else.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
He
autism
rubbed his
is
ear.
right, like autism ticks are catchy somehow.
Yeah. Yes.
But when you mentioned the dead maid, my favorite part was in that scene when he killed her, bright and sunny out. At the same time this is happening, the gardener on the other side of the house is talking to the actor in the rain.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how big this guy's property is, but I'm pretty sure in L.A. it doesn't rain on half an acre of land.
I'm pretty
But
sure
yeah.
Fred Durst is living in the pool house out back. I'm sure he could tell you.
Right?
So-
I wish Fred Durst would fall backwards on a potted plant.
And I don't give
You
a
know what?
fuck. I'm gonna spoil the end of the movie for everybody.
Ooh,
Because
I
you're
think I
not gonna
already
fucking
did.
watch it. I don't want you to watch it. You shouldn't watch it. It's
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
awful.
now you get a conscience. Go fuck yourself, Craig.
But he kills the nurse. He ends up confronting the guy in the house. They end up fighting it out. Well, not
Predictably.
necessarily. Predictably, they fight it out, and the actor
He ties him to the bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He ties him to the bed and fakes a suicide. I actually was hoping that would be the end of the movie.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird. Like he had the sense
faked-
to say, like, I'm gonna freak him out by making him think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes in a Jason mask with a prop knife that he just happened to have lying around.
Yeah.
And he started playing with that. The guy is tied up in bed. No, the guy, they hinted at the fact that he likes to drink strong beer with his pills. He takes medication. Because Fred Durst
Yeah.
at one point had Travolta say, "Ooh, you shouldn't take drugs."
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Again, as subtle as a fucking stroke.
Oh, and then had
But
him
anyway.
looking at the pill bottles in the bathroom.
And then when he had 2 empty IPAs when he's sleeping on the chair, there's also the pills right there.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been. I mean, seriously, if he had whipped his dick out and said, "Look at my balls," it wouldn't have been more obvious. Just one of the worst ever things. So, yeah, he ends the movie after escaping getting tied up. And, Craig, take it.
So
Take us home, baby.
he fucking he gets out. He has a shotgun. He blows John Travolta's fingers off.
With
Whole hand.
with
Yeah,
a shotgun, he managed to hit his digits, but nothing else.
Yeah.
The carpet below the digits, perfectly
Fine. Yeah. Then he shoots 2 rounds into the ground by his head, so his ears fucking are bleeding. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He like deafens him with the shot. He doesn't try to kill him. Like he stabs him in the eye.
Yeah.
Actually, he does stab him in the eye with the fucking knife. But then he blows his fingers off and he shoots the 2 things. His ears are ringing. Then he has a moment of fucking clarity, like, oh, this poor man. You know, like I just heard him. So he bandages his hand up while he's crying, and he bandages up his hand and helps him up, and then sends him outside.
Sends him on his way.
He shoves
Have
him
a good
right
day.
back onto his yard.
Yeah,
Like, he doesn't even escort him off the property or call a cop. He goes, go.
and then just shuts the door.
Be gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the fucking crazy part is then John Travolta's just staggering down the street.
So what before you finish, so somehow John Travolta manages to walk miles from the Hollywood Hills to downtown Hollywood, Los Angeles, miles
pouring
before the
blood.
sun comes up. Yeah.
Pouring blood.
Just hemorrhaging all over the street.
Yeah.
And Fred Durst decides that this is a great moment to say, hey, I'm so arty, I'm going to have 2 foreigners come in and so I can use subtitles.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. They take a
has
picture
2
with him.
Because they think he's a street performer with the most realistic makeup ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
At no point did you think in the most dangerous city in the world, maybe he's actually bleeding.
Yeah, yeah. So he fucking, but then he smiles for the picture with him.
Yeah.
He does smile in the picture. And then fucking, but then he walks away, and his friend, the girl that's been narrating the movie, picks him up, and she's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And she picks him up, and they take off. So you assume she brings him to the hospital. And then they,
Now, admittedly, he's got a distinct look with the homemade haircut and everything.
yeah.
But I've got to say, to be quite honest with you, in crowded cities, I have been looking for specific people and never been able to find them. I have never been driving along and suddenly noticed my friend, as
Right.
autistic and bloody as he may be. I have never had the kind of stroke of luck where I could just say, hey, there's Moose.
Yeah.
Let me
exactly.
go find an immediately available parking spot in downtown Los Angeles, and let me go get him.
I have walked from my living room through my kitchen to the porch to leave and not seen my wife in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? So
I've lost
yeah.
cartons of milk in a shelf that never gets moved.
But the best was, so you see, she takes him to the hospital. Apparently, they just get in the car, they start walking towards the car, and the scene cuts back to the house.
Yep.
Now it's still dark again. It's
Yeah.
still dark, and the actor Hunter Dunbar is sitting against the door still, and there's a knock at the door, and you see the lights in the window, and it's the police.
Yeah.
So he gets up, and the cop's just staring at him with like this look of disgust, like, and he
Yeah.
opens the door, and you see the landscaper guy gives him a dirty look, like that's him, he's the one, and then the next scene is him in handcuffs in the back of the cruiser, and they're driving away with him handcuffed in a cruiser, and they're loading the dead maid into the fucking ambulance.
Yeah.
So
The maid who was not shot with a shotgun, I might add.
yeah,
So that would not explain the shells. Secondly, if you're going to move a body from killing somebody inside your house, you don't just throw her in the garden.
yeah,
Yeah.
Third, none of her blood on him at all.
none.
All unexplained blood. But that's enough for an arrest in downtown Los Angeles.
Fucking
After Rodney
rope.
King, Can't be
Ropes
too
all
careful.
strapped to his bed upstairs where he had to cut himself free. There's blood from someone else all over the fucking carpet. Bullet holes in the floor.
And he doesn't say a word.
And he doesn't say anything. He's just like, oh, well, this is my life now. I guess I'm going to jail.
They got me.
Yeah,
they got me for not killing the maid.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Moose has got his picture with him sleeping in his house on his fucking Facebook page. You know what I mean?
And the location was probably on.
Yeah.
Like he tagged himself at that location. He checked in.
And you see, the car drives away, and the narrator says, Hunter he's an actor. He's a survivor. Like,
Which makes no sense.
Which makes no sense. Like saying he'll deal with it. Like he'll be able to handle prison. Like
he made it through this ordeal.
And then fucking credits. And that's when I knew Brad was going to call me infuriated.
Yes.
If they had ended the movie with another quote and it was just, you can take that cookie and stick it up your stick it up your
Yeah.
it would have been almost as profound
Yep.
as the way they ended this movie.
Yeah.
Every actor in this movie should never work again. Like I want them all collecting stimulus checks from this point forward. I want them on unemployment from now on.
Yeah.
Like they're all horrendous people. Fred Durst, seriously, man, what possessed you to remake a movie like this?
Yeah. How about when they did the flashback scene to give you sympathy for Moose, the autistic kid.
Yeah.
And
the black and white one with no words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It flashes back to him watching a horror movie, and then
and that's it.
And then, he's watching a horror movie on the TV, and there's some guy with his mother, apparently, I guess.
Because his mom was a whore.
Yeah.
His mom was a whore, and she didn't pay any attention to him, so he was raised by television.
Yeah.
Because apparently TV also makes you autistic. Bet you didn't know that. It's not just vaccines.
Yeah.
It's television.
Yeah. And that was, but that was it. And then it cuts. It's like a 20-second scene of black and white fucking weirdness with no context whatsoever, thrown in the completely wrong spot of the fucking. It was just fucking awful, awful. Nobody should ever allow that guy to direct fucking another movie again, ever.
He shouldn't be allowed to direct Traffic.
He tried that once, and he just kept saying, keep rolling. Should have opened the show with that joke instead of that steaming turd I dropped on the beginning of this one. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Craig, your outline is off to a bang-up start, pal. Captive audience indeed.
Right? So, there was that. So
I was visually raped yesterday, and Craig has yet to say I'm sorry.
I won't.
Craig wraps it up by saying, so there was that. Like it was a comment just passing through.
Yeah.
So there was that.
After what you made me do yesterday, you should have bought me breakfast and called me the next day.
I told you to watch the movie. You did it.
No, you guilted me because I wasn't going to, because I was right and you were wrong. So again, because it's been a few minutes, go fuck yourself.
Well, if you knew that you were right and I was wrong, whose fault is it?
I mean, I'm just as mad at myself.
Yeah. All right. I guess my favorite part of this movie was after it was done, the recommendations from Amazon on other movies I might like, starring John Travolta that he's made in the last 4 months, wearing different wigs that don't look right at all.
Oh, Gotti?
Was it Gotti? No, there were 3 or 4 movies
awful.
after Gotti, but before this one, where Travolta plays some ridiculous character with even more ridiculous hair. And I'm like, these movies are not making any money. They can't be.
No,
That was my favorite part, just looking at the posters and thinking, wow, I wish I could take his face off.
So, I mean, that was kind of the denial portion of it. So, we'll move on to anger.
I think Brad was already at anger.
Yeah, so...
Mission accomplished.
Aside from me making you watch that movie, what's the biggest thing that's pissed you off, basically, in this whole lockdown thing? We're sitting around the house, fucking can't do anything, can't go anywhere.
Me?
Both of you. What's been what's getting under your skin?
We need to hear more from Dave, so I'll shut up for a bit.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Cool off from earlier.
I am it's the overly panicked people is the big thing. Like, just people being irrational is the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I get being cautious. Like, if I have to go out, I put the mask on. If I have, that, like, I get it. But there's some people that are just
technically
irrational.
now you have to.
Yeah, if you go to a
have
public
to
place or a store or something, yeah.
Yeah.
I just do my shopping in Massachusetts. I'm fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there today. Let me tell you, it's not required, but everybody in the liquor store was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
People are wearing them out driving.
Well, that's dumb.
That's just stupid in your car. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's I mean, I know the funny thing is going to Massachusetts. Technically, now, if you've shopped in Massachusetts, when you come home, you're supposed to quarantine for 14 days.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But it's just crazy. But
I see the same people. It's like I go to Massachusetts 2 or 3 times a week to bring the 2.5-year-old to my parents.
yeah,
But those are the only people we interact with, and we're the only people they interact with.
yes, yep.
And that's it.
And the same thing with me and my wife. We don't interact with anybody other than me going to the store.
Right.
I
and
mean,
as
I
far
got
as
followed today by a cop.
did you really?
Well, yeah. Well, I blew through. I was like, the light turned red as I was going through.
Oh, so you're
I kinda
breaking the law.
Well, but I don't think that was it. I don't think it was the red light. I think he was waiting to see where I was going with the Rhode Island tags. Because I was in Swansea, Mass. So I get the feeling that they were trying to see if people really are, keeping tabs on it. And it was a miserable fucking day. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I was trying to sneak onto a golf course to play the back nine.
Yeah.
It, it was what it was, but it's clear that, that all the commerce is right over the border. I'm going there.
Yeah.
But I went to a liquor store and people, rubber gloves and sanitary wipes and fucking masks on. Everybody looked like they were doing a drywall project.
Yeah. And which, I mean, I'm fine with it. That doesn't bother me. It's I was more upset, the hoarding of everything.
Yeah.
It never had to be like that. Because
It's still going on, too.
Yeah, and it's still
And it
going
shouldn't
on.
be.
And it shouldn't
My
be.
giant toilet paper rolls got delayed. I was they were expected today.
Yeah.
And I woke up to an email this morning saying, "Oh, they won't be there today. Do you want to cancel the order?" I'm like, "Hell no. I have told this story. I will own these."
Yeah. But it's the whole thing is it's like that hoarding aspect of it drives me fucking nuts because it never had to be like that because you were still allowed to go to the grocery store. I could see people panicking like maybe I won't want to go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? Like if it gets that bad. So I can kind of see that aspect of it, but you didn't have to buy 700 rolls of toilet paper.
No.
You didn't have to buy 47 pounds of meat. A lot of these people, this shit's going to go bad before they can use it. You know what I mean?
And meanwhile, Melissa couldn't get anything last night.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row now. We have to change our shopping strategy because everybody decided to start doing it then.
Yeah.
Yep.
All of a sudden, they're stripped bare. Apparently, our meat factories in this country are shot now.
Well, because a lot of them are closing because there was one, I think it was in is it South Dakota? There's a massive meat processing plant there.
Yep.
And because South Dakota went all rogue and they were like, fuck you, we're not locking anything down. You can all go fuck yourselves. Freedom. Like fucking, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, fucking everybody's fucking sick. And they had 39 people at this one factory that had it, that got it. So they had to close it down. So, and there's a few other factories like that had to close down. So you got these meat processing plants that have to shut down. So now the meat's going to start slowing down.
I bet those burgers are wicked cheap right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. I heard there was a swine flu outbreak at their one and only strip club in Sioux Falls, too. For those of you not listening from South Dakota, I'm calling you fucking fat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm good with 49 states checked off. We can skip you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We're all stuck at home, and initially it was all those people. But what pisses me off the most is something I see every day, and it's the same fucking memes and jokes on every social media outlet. I am if one more person's like, hey, did you see this? Yes, I fucking saw it. I've seen that meme. I've seen 35 versions of that meme. I don't care. It's not funny.
It's not funny. Yeah, and then like the people like with the with the the glass pan top in their hood, like a fucking spacesuit. Now everybody's doing it like they just came up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's their idea. Like, hey, check me out. It's like, I've seen it fucking 47 times already.
I know. Hey, what's your apocalypse name? It's this plus. It's like, shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, and the math games. That's another one. Everybody's got these weird fucking math games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By people I know that failed math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny though. Is I did send you guys one,
Yeah, you did.
but that was
And
fucking
I'm pretty
funny.
sure I told you to go fuck yourself for the
you-
19th time that day.
You laughed because that one was fucking funny. Somebody got me with that one because it wasn't really a math thing. It was like a movie thing. It was fucked up, and everybody ends up with the same movie by the end of it, and it was fucking pretty funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but it's like it's this just recycled versions of the same thing
same-
over and over. I can't stand it.
yeah,
But when they get political with it, that's the worst.
yeah,
Like, if you want to spin numbers, I learned this. I work with data every day, or I used to when I worked before COVID took my job. But goddamn pandemic. I work with data, and I realize if I want to make a case, you look at the numbers from any perspective, you'll find a way to spin it.
Oh yeah.
Of
So
course.
what's happening now is right now Trump is going after Cuomo in New York because Cuomo's saying we need more of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And Bush, listen to me. And Trump keeps saying, yeah, but we already sent you A, B, and C.
yeah,
Doesn't change the fact that Cuomo needs X, Y, and Z.
yeah,
Right.
So if you're a Trump supporter, you're automatically like, we sent you so much shit already.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
we sent you 8 times as much as the rest of the country. And if you're not a Trump supporter, you're saying yes, but you're sending us the wrong things.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
they were
sending
like,
us bandages when we need gauze. You know, it's one thing after another. But why does everything have to be politicized? Why can't we just all agree that this drug doesn't care where you voted?
it doesn't, and the
Drug, but virus.
You-
God damn it!
Yeah. Brad's still flustered for me making him watch that movie.
You made me dumber.
I
You
was
made
just
me
gonna say it made
fucking
him
dumber.
dumber.
Christ on a crutch, Fran. I mean, Craig.
Yeah. But it's funny, they everybody politicizes everything, and it's fucking it's become insane. And what I love seeing is what used to happen, like, you know, Democrats will do the same thing about like to Trump that the Republicans did to Obama.
Yeah.
And then the Republicans will complain like, "Why nobody ever picked on Obama like this?" What? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
I saw you driving around with the fucking "Does this ass make my truck look big" sticker on it for fucking for 3 years, right? and all this other shit, you know, and just fucking where's his birth certificate? He's fucking Nigerian or whatever the fuck. And,
Benghazi emails. Benghazi
yeah.
emails.
And-
oh my God. It's a virus. Why is this argument coming up?
Yeah, and it's like, why is all this stuff, whatever at this point. Let's
You
let
hear
it go.
from the most extreme ends of both sides. Those are
Yeah.
the only loud portion. And extreme anything is bad. There's assholes on every side of the aisle. And I didn't say both. I said every because
Every.
if there has ever been a case for needing more than 2 parties in this country, it's the last 4 fucking years.
Oh, absolutely.
We need 5 parties. Forget 3. We need
Get
5.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because the two-party system destroys everything. Because I've said it before. I've voted pretty much conservative, like Republican, ever since I could vote. It's just kind of the way I lean more right. But I also look at the Democratic Party. I'm not like, you Democrats. I don't do that shit, because it's just stupid to me. And it's like,
I've never once
hey,
voted for a party. I vote for people.
I vote
Yeah.
for
I didn't like Obama when he came in, not because he was black or even potentially Muslim.
yes.
Okay, which they've debunked 100,000 times.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I didn't like him because he had never passed any meaningful legislation, and how he kind of cut the line to get. But you know what? By the end of his 8 years, I was damn convinced that he would have been great for another 4. especially considering what followed.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually I wouldn't say I was a true Obama supporter, but
No.
unlike most people who talk politics, I actually changed my mind,
My thing is, I said this,
and
to
I'm allowed
somebody-
to do that.
Yeah, I actually said something to somebody the other day on a post that they were like, because someone wrote something about the Constitution. Oh, you notice that everybody just wants to walk all over, all these Democrats want to walk all over the Constitution. Nobody's ever read it. I don't think anybody's ever read it before. So I made a comment and I said, yeah, I said, no, I agree with you 100%. Most of the people in the country don't look at it that way. And I said, right down to Donald Trump himself. I said, I don't think he's ever read it or fucking, and someone immediately in all caps, he reads it and he upholds it. And I started laughing because then I said, well, last night he just said that he has ultimate power over everything.
Yeah.
And I quoted, I took the actual quote and I put it in. And I said, and then when asked if he had spoken to the governors about this, he said, no, I haven't because I don't have to. Yes, you do. Right?
I mean, we don't do politics on this show,
No.
and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But I got to say, sometimes things just cross the line of ridiculousness, which we do cover on the regular.
Yeah.
And I think we've kind of hit that point, especially when it comes to the responses to things in this pandemic.
And
So, Dave, I can see you squirming down at the bottom of my Zoom screen, but you got to let this go a little bit.
No.
So-
I just
but-
said memes.
yeah, so what I was getting at with that, so then I followed up after. I said, listen, I don't have a problem with you supporting whoever, whether it's Donald Trump or whatever. But listen, it's okay to criticize him.
Yeah.
Whether you support, even if you're his biggest supporter, you can still criticize what he's done. You can still call him out on a mistake. Every president has made a mistake. Every president has fucked up one way or another. You can call it out. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's not the Lord and Savior. He's a fucking
Yes,
man.
he is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
I don't know. I didn't get the update from today's briefing. What did he deem himself today?
Yeah.
I believe his next official title is Post-Apocalyptic Overlord.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's what has kind of been pissing me off with all that stuff is that whole thing. Like,
Can I build on that with mine?
Yeah.
Taking it out of the political realm, I got a real problem with self-appointed Facebook political, social, and medical experts.
yes.
Okay, I mean, basically, if you read 7 articles on Facebook, you get a tag. It's kind of like doing that beer app where they give you badges.
Yeah.
And basically, anybody who's read 7 articles front to back is now a officially licensed Facebook medical expert,
Yeah.
especially in the field of pandemics and global viruses.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's
yep.
exactly what Facebook is filled with now. It's not just Facebook. It's on Twitter, but Twitter, the conversation seems to end almost as quickly as it started.
Yeah.
Facebook, for some reason, has become a landing spot for discussions that go deeper. And when that works, it's great. And
Yeah.
when it fails, like it has for the last month, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, my friends, many of whom listen to this show, we know exactly who I'm talking about. And, yeah, he may have been mentioned on the show once or 7 times before. RC, baby, thinking of you, pal.
Yeah. But
That's that. So I'm done with that.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, it's not just like you said. Everybody's goes off on these tangents about everything, and they think they're all experts because they follow certain things, and it's the 5 stages of grief. You know what I mean? Like I said, because there's one person on my feed that I've known all my life, and they started out like, oh, it's just the flu, it's just a thing. Okay, no, this is serious, and then they were doing updates like they were the authority. Right? And
Thank God for Steve.
and it's still
Yeah.
no, it's funny. That's his fucking name.
Get out.
But the funny thing is, he started posting every day updates the amount of cases, how many deaths, where they were, what, like statistics. And and the worst part was people were following him like, oh, thank you, Steve. Like, I was waiting all day for this. You know, like, I was waiting for your update. It's like, what?
He's getting it from somewhere else.
Yes. And he's fucking insane. I know him. He's fucking crazy.
I don't, but apparently there was just a Steve vibe in the air.
Yeah. It was fucking nuts. But, I mean, we'll get into a little later. Because we're going to
I'm going to start doing live. I'm going to start using our feed on Facebook and Instagram to do live updates of the newest uploads to Pornhub.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you hear? It actually wasn't Pornhub. It was another cam site. They seem to be profiting most from the coronavirus. First, they offered the people on the ship the free cameras to film their own onboard coffee wheezy sex exploits.
Yeah.
But I really do like the fact that they did. One porn site offered Joe Buck $1 million to basically do live commentary of a cam video in progress.
Come on.
And Joe had great responses. Joe was like, I'd just be giving the money back to myself or something like that. I think that's fucking crazy. And then his wife chimed in with something that basically emasculated him. So I hate Joe Buck's announcing, but I got to give it up to Joe Buck, the man. That was the right way to handle that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Fucking great.
Yeah, I can't stand watching him or hearing him commentate. But if he's pulling that shit off on social, good for him.
No, it'd be great if you could get somebody that kind of sounds like him and can commentate, and had them just reenact and call themselves Joe Fuck.
It's not a hard voice to do. I'm sure we could get somebody to do it. But I just like, wow, we weren't expecting the insertion that quickly.
Yeah, you just have to make sure to mention the Yankees or the Cowboys every 2 or 3 minutes.
Plugged her right in the Cardinals.
Yeah, yank D's and saddle up. Let's go.
But so let's move on to our next round.
No, your next round.
Yes, we're just going to move on to the next stage of grief.
Anger?
No, you can't have anger twice in a row.
Have you ever hung out with yourself for a long period of time?
You've clearly never grieved with us.
Yeah.
I've gotten angry about the same story being told multiple times, hanging out with you plenty of times.
Exactly. That's how I roll, baby.
But
what, backwards?
Yep. Yeah.
That's called neutral.
Yeah. Oh shit. But the next stage, these are kind of quick ones. You know what I mean? We can get through these, but the next stage is bargaining.
All right.
After anger comes
you don't want to get Fran in the room?
Yeah.
Loves a good bargain.
Right?
That would be called donations.
Yeah. But
here, have this.
Because I mean, things are going to slowly get back to normal. When? Yeah. Who knows? But
when the president determines that the air is okay to breathe.
Yeah. That's right. But are they? How normal are things going to go back with this weird shit happening? You know what I mean? But what's the one thing you'd be willing to say, fuck it, whatever. I don't care.
This friendship.
As long as things go back to normal?
Yeah.
Like everything else in our life is good, would you be willing to give something up?
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
I would give up concerts to get sports back.
Oh.
Okay. That's more of a trade-off, I think. But okay. I think I like where you're going.
It's
because I think concerts are inherently sweatier. Yeah. And people tend to be a lot more on top of each other. There's a lot more pushing and pulling. When you go to a game, you're in a seat.
Yeah. And you can also watch sports without being there.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I mentioned it last week with the non-sport WrestleMania. I do think that there's a fan component to sports that needs to. There's a reason we play home games.
Yeah.
Non-sport WrestleMania? You mean non-sport wrestling?
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't said it to you tonight, but fuck you, Dave.
It only took 2 hours.
Oh no! Every time we turn off the microphones, I've been saying "fuck Dave" for.
Oh, that makes sense.
hours.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was.
I
funny.
say it because nobody else will.
It was funny because I said that in a sense. I was like mass gatherings, and I said specifically as like concerts. I said basically because I haven't had much luck lately.
Yeah.
You know, so I could skip out on one, on some of those.
Craig saw one horizontal. And
Yeah,
he wasn't
yeah.
crowd surfing.
Yeah, and then didn't see the rest of it because I couldn't find my glasses, and all the blood was in my eyes.
But yeah, I think concerts, as much as I enjoy, and I do, I like live music, but I can see how a live music environment promotes a lot of, well, at least the music I listen to, unsanitary type things.
Yeah.
You rush in and out of a men's room so you don't miss a song. You're constantly shaking hands, slapping, hugging, high-fiving, mosh pits, everything else.
Yeah.
You really don't know who you're bumping into at any given moment. I think a sports situation, even if they, and I'm going to use the term, forgive me, socially distance the seating.
Yeah.
So you could buy 3 seats, and then there has to be a minimum of 1 seat between you and the next party.
Yeah,
If they figured out a way to do that, I think sports would still be fun. There would still be a crowd. There would still be excitement.
yep.
You can't do that at a concert. You can't ask
No.
people at a rock show to socially
No,
distance.
'cause
It won't work.
I think I've probably sat in my seat like 3 times at concerts, my legitimate seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not only, and even that, and it even might be like, hey, asking the person on the side of you, hey, you mind standing over here? I want to stand next to my buddy or whatever, shit like that. You're never in the fucking same thing, and you are jam packed. And I mean, I've been to sporting events like that as well,
Not many.
but not many.
People tend to
You
hold
know.
their space.
Yeah,
And
like
I do think they're going to bring baseball back because it's the least emphatic of all the sports.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's not. It's outdoors. I think if you somehow create seating gaps, there's probably a good. I mean, let's be real. I'm a Mets fan. That stadium's never full. Opening day and playoff. That's about it. Space them out a little bit. Give them a free burger for their troubles.
That'd be great if they just started like inserting fake crowds, like CGI crowds at sporting events.
I'd be all for it. Man.
They're just playing in a fucking arena that's just as big as the arena, and the rest is green screen, and they just fucking CGI everything in it.
It's just a guy on loop just raising his arms up and down. I'm all for it, though. Anything to see people in that stadium. I just need sports back.
I watched a fucking college basketball game from 1988 the other day.
Oh my god.
And
You know-
it was just on, so I was like, oh yeah. And because I was like, I remember this game. It was what do you call it? With Patrick Ewing. It was it not Georgetown, whatever the fuck. I can't even think of it.
No, he went to Georgetown.
Yeah, it was Georgetown, but I'm trying to think of the game that it was. It was it was March Madness, fucking Final Four game. So I was like, I remember this as a kid. I remember watching this game, so I watched it just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it. And it was just so stupid. I realized this is pathetic.
Well, Vegas is taking lines now on how well people can remember things.
Oh my god.
They're actually allowing you to gamble in small pockets of when an event happened. We all know that an event happened.
Yeah.
Like Jordan hitting that last minute shot, but they're gambling on what the timer was,
Oh my
how much
God.
time was left on the shot clock, things like that. And they have to make the bet there in that moment without accessing their phone or anything.
Right.
It's like an instantaneous type bet. But leave it to Vegas to find a way to
something.
capitalize
Yeah. Well,
on
they
games
gotta.
that are 30 years old.
Yeah.
They got to.
You know what's funny is, Craig, you just reminded me, like, I live in the middle of a very Portuguese town like you guys do.
Yep.
And as you said that, like, my neighbor complains about his father-in-law and his friends. They used to go over there, his in-laws, for dinner every Sunday, and he would complain because all the old Portuguese guys are watching VHS recorded versions of soccer games from Portugal in 1978. He's like,
Yeah.
These guys haven't missed a beat. They still think the world is going on the way it's supposed to.
Yep. Exactly.
Right? They're still watching 38.
Benfica
40
forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're flying 40-year-old banners like, hey, having fucking parades in the neighborhood because their team won a decade and a half ago.
Yeah.
VHS is labeled Pele's debut.
Yeah. He's got pretty good. He's pretty good.
There's a bright future ahead.
Make for watch this man over here. Yeah.
But
Like, you're getting really good at that fucking accent.
fucked up.
I'm surrounded.
Shit's fucked up. Like, I mean, we basically bargained. The Olympics are postponed. Seasons are postponed. So there's been bargaining done there. I mean,
I won't lie to you. I
but-
think football's fucked.
But
Oh, yeah.
I think so too.
I think 2020 is a wash. I think we're just
think so.
calling it.
The
Yep.
teams don't have enough time to get ready for a season. Not that they won't have time to start a season. They can't prepare for it, I think.
They
is
can't,
the
yeah.
issue.
What's to prepare for? To be honest with you, if you can work out at home, just have the coach call you and tell you what to do. Do you really need to be in drills? Study the playbook, and everybody's going to be on equal ground anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well just let them fucking train this way.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hear you. But I'm kind of with you guys. You mentioned you'd give up concerts for sports. I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
I
No,
love
it's-
going to concerts. I love the music, but at the same time, I can hear new music from the bands I like anytime.
Anytime. And a band could actually perform. I mean,
They can
it's
still
a little
play.
They could still play. They could perform on a stage with the fucking camera.
They have been.
They
There's a
have
band called Code Orange who did a full club show. They rented out a club, got everybody out that was working there. They set up their cameras on automatic, and they edited the video from 3 different GoPros.
Nice.
And they put on a full concert with stage performance, production, lights, everything, all done remotely. But it's still not the same as being there.
No, you're not
it's
there.
No, it's definitely different. It's 100% different. But I mean,
yeah, what I'm saying is that music is there regardless of what's going on. Sports, not happening.
Not happening.
I'm with you
Yeah.
guys, but so
One quick question on sports. If you're in the final year of your contract and you're looking to get out, what is this going to do? Now, Mookie Betts just got traded by the Boston Red Sox to the LA Dodgers. There was 1 year remaining on the contract that was traded. There's a very good chance he could hit free agency without ever putting on a Dodger uniform.
Yep.
And Mookie Betts cost the Dodgers a fucking
a
fortune.
fortune.
Yep.
Yep.
Is it okay to say, you know what, you forfeited the last season, you're still under contract for 1 year? Because I think the nature of the contract and the deal should
basically
be
defer the
honored.
contract to the following season.
it's a season, not a calendar year.
But then he's another year older, and
That's-
his value on the open market is going to
It's
be
gonna
less.
is going to be less. Yeah.
And now, while I agree that they all get paid disgustingly, you can't tell a man that he was going to be worth $30 million a year, and now you're only worth 20.
20,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's still stupid money, but that's 1/3 of the money he was expecting to make.
Yeah.
So even though it's numbers I can't fathom, you got a guy who's been rich his whole career. You can't tell the man that he just lost 1/3 of his value because of a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's where this gets crazy.
Yep.
There's a lot of shit like that.
But so that brings you to that would be his thing. His next phase would be depression.
That transition was smoother than baby shit, my friend.
And yeah,
Hearing those salaries has depressed me.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Christ.
Yeah.
I gave up $10 million. That's how annoying I would be as a rich guy. I just made $20 million to play baseball,
Yeah.
but I could have made 30.
I could have made
Yep.
30. Yeah. That's $10
I'm
million
such a
bucks.
piece of shit. I hate myself.
Yeah. But I mean, depression is the next phase of grief.
It is.
And where do you go with that? Like, what's the thing that you guys miss the most that you want to get back to normal?
I can
Being able to
list
jerk
mine-
off whenever I want.
Yeah. Same answer.
I
Although
worked
I
from
do
home
it
with yeah, but I worked from home with nobody else here. I could be like, huh, all right, I got 20 minutes till my next meeting. I'm good. But now I can't do that.
I can see Dave just throwing newspapers on the floor in the kitchen and going to town.
Like we're training a puppy.
Yeah. He's just like going to town because he felt like it. Yeah. Oh, man.
Why
Every
is the
meeting
leaf-
Dave's on,
Yeah.
they keep thinking there's a helicopter flying low overhead.
Why is the leaf blower out of gas? Don't worry about it.
Don't.
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
I miss sports bars, and breweries that show sports.
Yep.
Basically, I used to love on Sundays and saying, let's go get a couple pops at a brewery. I'm going to go to the bar today. Sunday fun day, whatever it may be. I wasn't going all that much.
No,
But
it slowed
again,
down, but we still were.
But you
went,
could have.
Yeah, we could have, and we did go recently.
It
Before
was
this all
slowing down
started.
because everybody we know was like, how come I didn't get an invite? And so, I mean, in a way, I'm thankful for COVID. But I just I don't like being told I can't do something. I'm not necessarily going to do something, but I hate being told I can't. And today was the first time I've ever been really scared in a store. You know, now that the mask rule is in effect and I'm walking around looking like I'm about to rob the place.
Everybody's dressed up like Black Bart walking into the fucking.
Well, no, there's a lot of those painting masks. I'm seeing more of those than anything in the liquor store.
The what?
Yeah.
I came in, I bought a neck scarf thing like you would
Yeah.
wear when you're skiing.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I pulled that thing up. It's blocking nothing. If anything, every time I breathe, I'm just creating a moist fabric environment for germs to then latch on.
Latch onto. Yeah,
I'm kind of like inviting it, but you can't not wear one.
no, yeah, no. Technically, you can't not wear one. The store won't let you in.
And so it's been absolutely stupid. I felt like an idiot, especially when I'm looking at options. I'm looking at, well, do I buy that seltzer today or do I try that one? Or maybe I go beer. And I'm sitting there looking like a mugger.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just an awful feeling. So I'm depressed about just basic freedoms.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to like stroke your beard and think like this. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it doesn't look right.
I wanted to get a red bandana and wear my I got like this cowboy hat that I have that was a Halloween prop. I want to wear that and the bandana and go to the liquor store. Like, walk in. You know,
I would love it. Do you
Ma'am.
want a box? No, I just have the hat. Just put it in.
just put it. Yeah,
You tip your cap every time you see a lady.
yeah,
Afternoon, ma'am.
yeah. Afternoon, man.
But you're right. Like I use a bandana, and you're right. Like you just like if anyone's actually sick, they're just making a big COVID sponge.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
This,
Mine was the fabric of like a ski hat. Like you couldn't
Oh,
wear this all
God.
day. You would die.
yeah.
But it was available. And if we've learned anything from the last few weeks, if you can, buy it.
Buy it. Yeah.
So I bought 2 of them. Melissa wore it once, and then her office started providing medical masks. So I got 2 of these things now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I pull it over my face like a foreskin. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's what Fran did today. Like Fran went to work and she had this thick scarf and she just wore that because she had to wear it to go into the building and stuff. So she just was pulling it up,
Yeah.
over her face. And it's funny, like, 'cause like I got to go to the store tomorrow. I have dust masks downstairs. They're fucking
Yep.
dust masks. If someone fucking coughs on the side of me, I'm just gonna suck it in through the sides. Those fucking
Yep.
things don't even. Those dust masks don't even block dust. I remember fucking doing a job and taking the dust mask off, and there was 2 lines going directly to my nostrils of dirt. Where there was 2, like where my cheeks were, there were these little gaps. There was perfect fucking lines of dirt going directly to my nostrils. I was like, these
And I
things
get
didn't
shit
do
to the
fucking
nose.
anything.
Just a COVID funnel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fucking doing
we had the one
shooters
guy
of
in there today.
COVID-19.
Who pulled the hoodie up, and he did like Kenny on South Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just tied it real tight. I'm like, who are you kidding?
yeah.
You know, you're not even trying. Now.
No.
You know, and
Now your face just looks like a literal asshole.
But the worst is even the bands that we're trying to support, and I get that they're losing revenue hand over fist, but a band like Iron Maiden who doesn't need any more of my money,
No.
but they're selling the masks with like the Eddie face on.
Yeah.
I think that'd be badass to go out. $25 fucking dollars.
Yeah, stupid.
You plus shipping from England. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and that's
I'm
like
actually a little mad about that.
no, that's shitty. Fucking like, oh, let's use this to profit. Let's use the misery of the people that are forced to buy masks. Granted, you don't have to buy them. You know what I mean? That's something you don't have to buy it. So I
Okay,
get
but we're
that,
talking
but
about
it's-
their T-shirts that they repurposed with rubber bands.
yeah,
That's all
Yeah.
this is, and that's the thing that's annoying me. And I think it would be a great gesture by a band that's worth $1 billion
to donate them. Yeah.
Donate them to health workers, but also sell them for minimal cost or throw them into an order. Buy the tour T-shirt that you weren't able to see.
Yeah.
That's what I did for a band called Sepultura. They were coming to Boston, and I had all intentions of going to that show.
Fucking love Sepultura.
All of their tour merch is sold on half price. I bought a T-shirt for $10, and I'm just going to be like, I wasn't there, but I bought the shirt. But I got it for $10, and that's how, in my opinion, that's way more important than throwing $25 at Iron Maiden.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are a huge band. Know them or not,
They
they're a
own
huge
their
band.
own plane, and he flies it.
Yeah.
I think they're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have any of that fuck you mask money line.
Exactly. I just
you,
gave him
mask money.
$70 along with 30,000 other people for one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, think about
And that was one stop out of 80
one
on
stop
a US
out of
tour.
80, $70, and those were cheap seats. $70,
Yeah.
30,000 people.
And
Think
you know
about
what?
that.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat. That
Oh,
show
it was fucking
amazing.
fantastic, and I have no complaints about that show. I was fucking excited about it, but
I'm sure when Grungapalooza comes through, Dave will be just as happy.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. $7 a ticket.
yeah, $7.
Two sets from Candlebox.
Yeah, that the band's paid so they can play.
Let's move on. So the next phase would be acceptance. Knowing things will get back to normal eventually. What have you been doing to make things easier now? Just you,
Craig, this is a banging outline. I just got to...
like you. No, you're sitting in your house. You just got to deal with it, accept it at this point. What is it?
Well, we haven't heard much from Dave, so
I-
why don't you take lead on this one?
I told you guys, my life hasn't changed that much.
Same here. That's why I'm
That's
throwing
why
it to you.
I get nothing. Like, the only thing I don't do that I think a lot of people are doing and they shouldn't is watch the news.
Yeah.
I watch my local news like I was doing before, and that's it.
Yep.
Because everything is stories about COVID-19, and they're all ridiculous.
No, rephrase that. It's speculation.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Yesterday's headline has already been disproved, and
Yeah.
tomorrow's theory is going
Yes.
to be.
yeah, and
There is absolutely no authority that the media is getting.
None.
Whatever scientists are doing, they're not revealing until they're 150%
Yep.
sure.
right.
It's all
The
speculation.
fact that doctors yes, Dr. Oz is an idiot. Dr. Drew is an idiot. Basically, if you have a doctor and a gimmicky nickname, just stop talking. But they're doing this, and CNN is bringing in their guys, and Fox News, for some reason, got all the celebrity ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're bringing them in, and do you know what they're doing? They're creating more problems than it's worth. Even Dr. Drew admitted, I have to stop doing
Yeah.
this because I'm putting false hope in people, and I'm also minimizing the suffering of people.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, but at the same time, why are they even allowed on the news? So, Dave, you're 100% right. I interrupted you to tell you that I agree with you.
That's my point. Is like this will consume you if you let it.
Well, yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I just don't even bother. Like if it's important enough, I'm gonna hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the thing. Like, Fran was getting obsessed, and it was kind of last week. I told her, like, you gotta stop a little, take a break, because it was every, all right, Cuomo's doing a live stream, Gina Raimondo's doing a live stream, Baker from Mass is doing a live stream. She's watching all of them, and then Trump is coming up.
Why is she watching
And
New
I'm
York?
like,
I'm curious.
Well, because a lot of it, I mean, you were finding a lot of what was happening. We're surrounded by these states. We were on the national news the other night because they're worried about us because we're surrounded by these states that are getting hit hard. And
why is New York getting
we're
hit so
doing
hard? Every major port in the country goes through
there.
New York.
Exactly.
The subway system is filthy. Everybody touches
Yeah,
every surface
exactly.
everywhere. Okay, every building. You can't walk down the street there without bumping into somebody or having somebody
Yeah.
cough on you. I mean, it's stuff we used to laugh about. We don't deal with that here. Why is Fran exposing herself to something that isn't
People
really
jerking off
pertinent?
on fire escapes, just shooting shit everywhere. It's just chaos.
It's fucking chaos. No, the thing is,
Start spreading the ooze.
it's also the fact that we're in between these states. The people that are just passing through, stopping at stores, going, you got New York, Connecticut, Mass, you know what I mean? We're surrounded by all these states that are hit pretty hard. and they all come through here to get to the next state.
But they have been for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
now. They put that block on the. I mean, I don't want to say it's like a virtual wall.
Yeah.
But if you're coming in the state and a cop sees you with New York tags, they're pulling you over. It's horrible. But let's face it, you're probably just swimming in this. They told New Yorkers last week, just assume you have it.
Exactly.
And that's probably a fair assessment. I know 2 people that have it definitively, 2 people that have already gotten over it, and 1 person who's not doing well.
Yeah.
And it's bad there. And this is a young, vibrant, active person. This is not a senior in a nursing home. Rhode Island, though, we've been fortunate, and I'm going to say this with the absolute most tact possible. We have been fortunate that most of the death that has occurred in this state has occurred in nursing homes.
Yeah.
While that is not a good thing, it is in the overall big picture.
We had one death today of a person that was 30.
Oh, no kidding. Really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
one death today, person that was 30. But most of the deaths that we've had in the state have been elderly or people that are sick.
Not that it matters, but was this person compromised in any way?
Most likely.
Yeah,
I didn't get into too much
again,
detail.
I'm not diminishing this. This is killing people across the board. But I think Rhode Island has been fortunate because it's all been isolated to places where people are so immunocompromised.
I'm gonna say something for a governor that I haven't agreed with one thing this woman has said since the day she's been elected.
She might just get my vote.
I can't stand her. She's been doing a fantastic job. She's can't. I mean, granted, there was a couple of things where she was saying, you need to stay home. You can go for a walk, but you need to stay home. It's like, what? Hey, hold on. Like, like contradictory stuff, but simple. She's handled it very well. I think she's done her best.
All the things we hated about her,
yeah,
because it was so by the book,
yeah,
is exactly what's maintaining her calm and her presence right now. And so I haven't said it in weeks. Kind of have to tip your cap.
No, and I do.
She's doing what she's supposed to do.
And I really, and that's like I said, that goes back to the other thing with Trump. You can criticize somebody, and when somebody does something stupid, you say they did something stupid. When they do something good, you say they did something good, no matter what party they're involved in, or what their political affiliation is. Doesn't matter. They did good. They did good. They did stupid. They did stupid. Say it.
Right.
It's not going to fucking hurt you.
Do yourself a favor and type that into Facebook and watch how quickly your computer goes to a blue screen of death.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. Facebook won't allow it. You're not allowed to agree with 2 sides of the aisle. I'm not getting into that again. But my God, it's not hard to say they did this right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as much as everybody's like, well, you're killing seniors and you're killing babies if you open up stores, the bottom line is we might not have much of a world to come back to in another month if we don't start doing something economically. Kind of have to if you tell people they can't do this for another month, they're going to start doing things anyway, and it's going to get ugly.
Exactly. They're already protesting. They're already breaking the stay-at-home laws.
Well, that's Detroit. Fuck Detroit.
No, but I mean, they're just doing it, like I said before, freedom. Everyone's like fucking like out there fucking yelling their shit. And I love when the one guy's like, this blah, 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 this is hurting our democracy. Hold on. Republic. Hold on with all your democracy. It's a republic. Well,
you saw the one with the guy carrying the sign, COVID is a lie.
Yeah.
And he's covered up in 9 masks.
Yeah.
He's all sealed up in gloves and everything.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, I guess that kind of transitions to the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get to Dave. Dave, what are you doing?
No, that was it. I'm not watching the news constantly like a lot of people are. I'm just keeping it out of my daily life. No more than it has to be.
Yeah.
I'm exercising and I'm buying things online to do what I can to get the economy moving. Trump was nice enough to pay my mortgage this week, so I didn't have to forbearance.
There you go.
It was really nice. I woke up on Tuesday and that shit was right in there. I was very happy.
Nice.
And none of the concern. Yeah, thank you, Donald.
Yep.
But Donald, you are at the center of Craig's last point, and so because he has to introduce it again. Craig?
All right, so we covered the 5 stages of grief Now we're gonna move on to the one that I don't want to say I discovered it, but the one that I'm seeing coming through more than anything is the 6th stage, which is conspiracy and blame.
And blame.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like everybody needs to point a finger at something. It's a fucking virus. It's a fucking virus.
No, it was the goddamn Chinese bats.
Yeah, it was bats. It was some fucking dude banged a monkey. Whatever the fuck.
There are people who still believe that. That is how AIDS happened. Somebody got lonely on safari.
An airplane pilot fucked a monkey and then went home and banged his boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole thing is
ridiculous. We all know it's because the monkey banged his boyfriend, not the pilot.
Yeah, exactly. He's a pilot. He's got more sense than that.
It was a banana-fueled love triangle.
The only landing strip on the back nine.
He's trying to explain to his boyfriend. He's like, I swear to God, I didn't mean I slipped on a banana peel and it just fell in.
Yeah.
19 times in a row.
Landing gear down and down and down again.
But I mean, the whole conspiracy thing, I get it. It's because I mean,
why do you get it? Why are you saying I get it? Why are you giving this some credence?
Well, I'm not giving it credence. What I'm giving it is there's definitely some like shady shit going on behind the scenes, whether it's numbers or whatever it is. There's that there's stuff that we're not being told, just like with anything else. You know what I mean? So
the idea that they opened up Wuhan so quickly.
Yeah.
And they're not acknowledging the fact that not only was it centered there, but all of the surrounding towns were hit minimally.
Yeah.
It was almost a lot of the conspiracies are centered on the idea that there is a disease center in Wuhan that theoretically could have distributed
like
this
manufacturing
on its
the
own.
disease is what they're saying.
Manufacturing and then because it's such a big distribution city, sending it out. But there were local communities within an hour of Wuhan that were hit minimally.
Yeah.
And that's frightening.
Well, when you don't own a car or shoes,
yeah,
it's kind of.
But if you're working in Wuhan and you know people who are,
yeah.
and let's be real, Wuhan is not a small city.
No, it's not.
It's
an
big,
epicenter
big
of
yes,
yeah, especially of manufacturing.
It's right, and when you leave city grounds, it's not suddenly the countryside.
Yeah.
There are suburbs and things like that. There was a very, very easy way this could have spread, but it didn't. And this is raising a lot of eyebrows for people who don't necessarily trust China. And honestly,
No.
I don't blame China, but maybe we should be looking into this. They don't particularly like us.
And that I get, and that's a legitimate issue. My issue is the people that come on and say things like, okay, it's the Democrats and the media.
Already wrong.
Yeah. We know they're blaming. They're just trying to bring down the economy and do it. It's like, no, this is globally. This is around the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the Democrats and CNN didn't shut down the UK, fucking Italy, fucking Germany. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but international politics might have.
No.
You know, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and it seems like anytime somebody says they're not, they tend to be one. I'm not. I'd like to believe that most leaders in this world are working for a greater good.
Meh.
I don't
believe
particularly
in
trust
that.
our government.
But
I do think that there's probably a secret confab of world leaders talking off the record about things they can
one
do
world government
to speed up world
one
to
world
kind of
economy.
speed up world economy.
Yeah.
Well, of course there are.
A one world economy is big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to have a single currency worldwide, globally, and this and that. But that's the thing is, who wants to give up being like the United States forever? We were the what is it called? monetarily, everything was traded in the U.S. dollar. You know,
Okay.
whether it was oil to whatever, from one country to another, it was done in the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was countries like China who wanted that position because it holds power, you know,
Yep.
obviously. So, you know, or Russia, the same thing too. But I mean, I don't know. It seems so far-fetched to do it in this fashion. Granted, the one thing I would say, okay, would be that China did it. China kind of released it to destroy the economy so that they could gain the power and be the big economy in the world. They were back to work.
Well, let's look at it this way. Look at it internally. 51% of this country still thinks we're the greatest superpower in the world. And it took us exactly 1 month of absolute isolation to kill this economy twice over. Okay, 1 month after years upon years upon years of building what we thought was the greatest financial infrastructure on the planet. And 1 month took us out because we weren't allowed to go out and buy shit at Kohl's.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's think about this for a minute. It's really preposterous that we have been sitting there and just boasting and pounding our chest that we're just we're still the leaders of the free world, and no, we're not.
Nope.
And, you know, they had that whole video clip from whatever that show was a few years ago about the newsroom. And he said America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. And the truth is we haven't been for a very long time. Yeah. So I think if somebody wanted to cripple us financially, which was the point of 9/11, so we know it's on people's minds. Okay, I think they didn't do it then. They may have done it now because everybody's afraid to leave their fucking homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No. And I get it. I get that there's, but it goes so deep to a point where there was a group of people, and not a group. This is a massive amount of people, because there's that comet Atlas that is coming by, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be extremely bright, but the only thing is it started to break apart. So it's not, because it was going to be the brightest thing in the sky, almost to a point where you might have been able to see it during the day.
Wow.
You know, and that was, I guess, going to be in the beginning of May, like May 4th or something like that, was when it was going to be at its brightest point. But it started to break apart. So now it's, you know, you lost that. But because of that, it was just an astronomical event. Everybody's like, hey, look at this comet that we found.
Yeah.
And it was labeled CO-19 because it was
get out
but
of here.
because it's comet 2019. It was discovered in 2019 because there's CO-18, CO, you know what I mean? That's how they're labeled. So all of a sudden, everybody starts to think, oh, it broke apart
And release this virus.
and there's people that are saying that. There
Come
are
on.
people that are saying yes. There are people that are saying that.
And the fact that this lines up with the Alf reboot
Yep. Yeah.
is no coincidence.
Yep. But there's also people, because all of a sudden they shut down a few telescopes, right? Like national, like observatories. They shut down a few of them because they're like, okay, we got to shut them down. People are fucking sick, and you know what I mean. And right away they're like, they want us all home and hoarding food because we're gonna get hit by a massive piece of this comet. And they wanted us all home and not panicking. I'm like, not panicking? They're telling us we're all going to die of a fucking disease.
Yeah.
What would be the fucking difference? What's the fucking difference? You know what I mean?
Well, but they're giving us a semblance of control.
Yeah.
They're saying if you stay home, you're likely not to get
Yeah.
it. Just wash your hands up to your wrists to the point where your skin is so fucking dry.
Yeah.
You know, they're telling you wash, 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 and stay home, stay home, stay home. Yeah, they're controlling the panic. They're putting you in control.
Yeah, but my whole thing is, so you got these psychos out there that are like, we're going to get hit by this comet. And the funny thing is, like, you can see it. Of course you can see it. It's fucking bright. It's glowing in the sky. It's like fucking 5 billion miles away. It doesn't have a...
But it's headed for your house.
It doesn't have a shot in the dark of hitting the planet at this point.
I'll be honest with you, Dave's fucked at his
Oh, yeah.
altitude.
Yeah,
Screwed.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They would just
Yep.
reach up and grab a piece of virus off of it. And fucking
Just singe the roof of my house as it flies by.
yeah. But this is where it goes. Like people start like this is it. This is why they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's other like even more insane fucking.
There's no logical connection between anything.
none.
Yeah.
None.
But some of the conspiracies I've heard, and I don't want to belabor this too much, but some of them have my attention.
See, now I haven't
Because
heard
there
any, so
is
I'm curious to see what you have to say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the obvious is chemical warfare.
Yeah.
China doesn't like
No.
us. We are a necessary evil for them, and they are for us. But the reality is we have not been political friends in many, many moons.
And we just had a big the trade war thing going on, all that shit.
And also, if you look at the nature of our society right now, it's pretty obvious to the rest of the world that we are more divided and more vulnerable than we've ever been. What a great move to make.
Right, yeah.
This idea that the Wuhan Center for Diseases is 5 blocks from this wet market where the bat was supposed to. You know, I mean, that might be a stretch, but the idea that China would want to implement some type of chemical warfare isn't.
No.
It really isn't.
Nah. And like you said, I'll agree with that. That is something that I would say is probable. That's it. Technically, it's a conspiracy, but it's probable.
But it wouldn't take out all of the rest of the Western world. That doesn't help their economy.
No.
The one thing we've always agreed on is we know how to make money together. And so I don't think they would want to take out the whole Western world. But if they wanted to make a statement to the United States, they probably could. And this is a much louder statement than a bomb or a missile
because
going off
that's
somewhere.
not going to solve anything. That's not
right.
You can fly as close as you want to any Navy ship. You know what I mean? And you can do whatever you want, and none of that is going to solve anything.
Do you realize how much toilet paper is being purchased from China through Amazon right now?
You cripple
if they wanted to go ahead.
I'm saying, and to fire, even if they fired on a fucking U.S. Navy ship, and then there's a conflict out there, that solves nothing for either country. That's misery for either country. You know what I mean? So
right.
To say, "Oops." are you guys sick? You know what I mean? And cripple the economy and bring the world to a halt.
It was a statement by China saying we are a superpower, and look what we can do in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, but
if that's the case, obviously we'd have no proof.
If they want to make a statement though, wouldn't they have to own it?
Not until it's done.
Not until it's done. Yeah, that's the thing.
You don't hear about ISIS claiming responsibility for a bomb as it's going off. They wait until the next day when the world denounces it.
I guess. I mean, but we're a couple months into this thing already, and I don't know.
Well,
I don't think they're going to take until they see a final
Harvard.
impact.
They did arrest that professor from Harvard. Was it Harvard?
It was Harvard or MIT. It was one of them.
It was, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't have that. But they arrested that guy was selling it to them. Here you go. And he made a ton of money off of it. And the thing was, there's two things. They could have either done this on purpose or, in typical China fashion, they were dealing with the disease in a facility that has no fucking business holding this disease.
Yeah.
So it was an accident?
Yeah, it's quite possible because...
Like the world's deadliest oopsie?
Yeah, but they've done it before. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They've done it before. It's... You know, they're so lax. They don't... The regulation, they're like, hold on, let me burn all this plastic. You know what I mean?
Exactly. While all of our workers sleep on site for an hour and a half a day.
Exactly.
I get it. They're a different type of people. They do things their way. But even if this was an accident, why on earth is this virus even being developed if that's indeed what they are doing?
See,
there's got to be a deeper reason for that. It wasn't a bat.
No, it wasn't.
Like they're saying it grew in animals, but probably lab animals.
You want to know why? Like, this is my theory on why it was developed. Is you develop a disease, coronavirus is the common cold. You know what I mean? That's a coronavirus exists in many forms. SARS was part of a coronavirus, you know.
Oh, the bottle of Lysol says it right on the back. It has for the last 20 years.
And that was a big conspiracy. Everybody, oh, if this is a new disease, why does it say corona on the back? Oh, yeah, because the fucking world conspiracy guys are like, oops. Oh, I forgot it was on the back of a Lysol can. You know what I mean?
Gotta rename it.
Yeah, we gotta rename it. It's a,
Steve, you had one job to do.
yeah.
You forget the goddamn spray cans.
Yeah. But I mean,
They're the olive green ones. How do you miss them?
but what they do is they take these viruses and you take it into a lab and you mutate it and you do this stuff trying to develop a vaccine for it. Because if you can cure it, you are fucking rich beyond all expectation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you can predict how the disease mutates, you can stay a step ahead of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's reasons why these things are developed in labs, other than they're also developed in labs for biological warfare, as much as it's supposedly illegal. You know what I mean?
Right.
They are developed for that.
I don't want to believe that China wants to wipe out its best customer.
That's the other
But
thing.
I'm not 100% sure we are.
No.
If they have all of the European Union, which much more stable economies, maybe just maybe we're not as good as we think we are in that arena either.
Yeah. And how risky?
Maybe just maybe we're worth wiping
and
out.
how risky of a move is that? Is to get caught by that, and then we say, you know what, fuck you. All the we turn them into Cuba, and we don't buy anything from them ever again. An embargo, a complete shutdown of and everything. Nothing says made in China anymore.
Melissa and I were talking about the other night. Why not move all of this to South America and Central America?
Why not just move it back here?
Well, because it won't work.
No, it won't, because
You can't move all of that low-paying manufacturing here, but let's be real. Okay, if you move it to South America, Mexico, Central America, not only will this create new jobs in those poor
And it
nations, but it will also create better economical partnership with companies we owe money to.
and not
God,
and
companies.
countries we owe money. And not only that, it would
dumb
if you
gene
move
again.
the shitload of manufacturing to Mexico, you would stop the influx of illegal immigration. You know what I mean? Which I have no problem with people coming from Mexico legally. You know what I mean? Like doing it with the proper channels. But you would stop that influx if people had jobs, if it wasn't so bad. You know what I mean? And things were better. You would stop that influx of illegal immigration, which would be better for us on a burden on our social systems, like hospitals and unemployment and all these things that, you know, and housing that is given to them for whatever reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
And maybe, just maybe, if you boosted economies in some of these nations, maybe they wouldn't rely on the drug trade as the only source of real money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're generalizing to the nth degree.
No, yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to generalize. I know nothing. I have a degree in journalism. I know nothing about finance.
No, I don't either.
But what I can tell you is I do think there are some very obvious answers that nobody's considering because of previous 30, 40, 50-year-old political problems with these countries. I think if there's ever been a reason for the world to reassess where they're at with each other, it would be this.
Yeah.
South America is getting hit hard now. After weeks of them not having any cases of this, all of a sudden they're bombarded. Their major cities are getting bombarded too because we just can't stop traveling and this and that. I think this would be a great way to start shifting things back home, is to at least bring it to a hemisphere that we can access a little easier.
Yeah, well, not only that, if it was in South America, you're talking about less shipping is cheaper. Not. I mean, you would still have to ship stuff, but it would not across the fucking Pacific.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would be right around the corner.
And just as I mean, if you really want to get into this, and this does indeed center on a pissing contest, what better way to say fuck you than say, China, we just replaced you with 7 countries that can produce just as much. You know, I mean, China's huge. China does what China does, and for the most part, they do it well.
Yep.
There's obviously some shitty Chinese quality issues here.
Of course.
But overall, if we can replicate that in South America while improving our relations with our South American neighbors, why on earth wouldn't we consider that in the wake of all this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I did see one meme that made me laugh this week, was this is the first Chinese.
Oh, that's right. This is a comedy show. Good call.
It said this is the one Chinese product that has lasted the longest. Like, I thought that was funny.
Takes a licking, but keeps on ticking.
Like this, like it keeps going. It's still here. It's not broken yet.
See, I had a different conspiracy entirely. And
Yep.
I think this is one that I'm imagining all of the world leaders gathering in a secret mountain fortress somewhere in Norway, and they're all getting together and there's no lights and all, it's a very dim thing and this magic door opens and you go into the mountain. But I actually believe that there's got to be a consideration that population control is part of this.
Well, that's why
And
everybody
because
points a
this
finger
does-
at Bill Gates.
Right. But you've got the thing where 90% of the world's medical dollars are being spent on the oldest 10%.
Yep.
And again, those aren't real numbers, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of generalizing here. But basically, the people that need the most money from our Medicare systems or whatever the European and Asian equivalents are of this are the people that aren't contributing to their own economies. They've moved into retirement, which, as millennials will attest, isn't really a guaranteed thing anymore.
Yeah.
They're not giving back to these economies. They're living on fixed incomes, and they're not contributing anything new physically or otherwise.
Yeah.
So the question is this, you're going to have some young people die along the way, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of
Yeah.
the few. And so I wonder if maybe, just maybe, this was a bigger unified play to maybe just kind of weed out the people that cost the most money without giving anything back.
Well, yeah.
And it's a stretch for sure, but it's when you're home alone all day, you got nothing else to think
No,
about.
and
You know what I
you
mean?
see it, and and I'm reading things, and same thing. Like you said, Dave, you're busy, you're working
Yep.
still. You know,
Sucker.
Brad's
I stand to make more on unemployment than I did.
Brad's busy looking for a job until he got his first check from unemployment, and he was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
So now he's just reading conspiracy theories and hanging out and watching John Travolta movies.
I'm like this close to booting up Old Springer
Yeah.
episodes. I really am.
But I'm like sitting around and I'm looking at things, and I'm trying not to. Actually, today was the first day I was like, fuck Facebook. I'm done. Because people aggravate me. Like I said, I had that guy who, you talk about the 5 phases of grief. I watched him in the beginning saying it's just a flu, then saying how he was staying in, and he even had not stay the fuck home, but he had the stay home, save lives thing on his Facebook wall. Now that's gone. Now he's like, don't tread on me. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to go out and
I have to unmute just to laugh at that.
and it's like, dude, what the fuck? You just flip-flopped fucking 13 times in 4 weeks. Fucking
Well, that's
pick
what
something.
happens when you get news from other people's opinions of things that they
Yes.
don't know anything about.
And then not only that,
Exactly. Preach.
This
Dave.
is the same guy that's been posting the statistics from all these different places. And then, watch this video. This is from a guy who graduated from fucking whatever. And then he posts it. And I'm like, it's a YouTube video of, some guy he's legitimately a doctor. He has a doctorate in whatever the fuck. But then you start... and then you start to realize...
So many of them graduated from that beautiful campus.
And you start to realize, like, fuck this guy. This guy's a fucking asshole. He's got an agenda just like the other people do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So fuck him. I don't take, and I've said it before. I fucking trust no one. None of them. Because fucking even salt looks like sugar. It's fucking...
Was that in that big,
and he
thick book
knows
you
it.
were reading?
It was. You can't fucking trust anyone. And I don't know what the fuck that word was that you gave me in the beginning of the night. I heard it before. I don't know what it is. Don't give a shit.
You've never heard
Who do
it.
I owe a
You've
t-shirt?
never heard it. You owe me one.
Yes.
It was
Yep.
you? You prick.
It was me.
Did you make it up?
It was me. I pulled Dave aside this week. I said, I've got
Yep.
to tell him what it means.
Yeah.
And let me pull up the exact definition. It means ignorance, illiteracy, and lacking knowledge.
Fuck you.
Been a lot of that tonight.
That was directed right at me.
It was, and you illustrated it by saying, "I've heard this word, but nobody in your fucking family used it," and it's not because they're dumb. Nobody's used this word.
I've heard. I probably heard something. I said I think I've heard it. I think I heard something.
I did a Google search. I'm good with words, and I did a Google search. I said synonym for ignorant, and it came up immediately. I said that's a great word because, like Dave said, it looks like nesting.
Yeah.
It does. It did. Maybe that's why I heard it.
Next
before.
week, your
Maybe
word is going to look like toll
Maybe
house.
that's why I thought I heard it before.
Yeah. Now, Craig, after the episode, is going to go eat a packet of dried hot chocolate mix.
Hey, you guys are lucky I'm not the type of person that cheats.
That's fair. That's right. You had every opportunity tonight, and you didn't do it. But nobody would have bought
No.
it. Nobody would have bought that shit.
You know?
But I think what Craig's going to do to get me back is he's going to go like pour Sour Patch Kid dust on the floor, roll around with it, and take a picture for him. Here's to your fucking pancreas, friend.
You know, put confectionery sugar in all of his face masks.
These are used. They're dusty. Dave, did you have anything to add to this? I know we kind of jumped out of
It's
this
fun.
one.
Like I didn't, because I haven't been so immersed in this stuff. I don't know any of these conspiracy theories. It's people have nothing else to do. That's why I don't watch the news constantly. There's so much crap
Because
out
you
there.
fall into
yeah,
this.
it's easy to get looped
You
in.
fall into the what if thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what I did. And the fact that I'm even giving them the level of credence that I am is a little embarrassing. But you got to believe that there's a reason swine flu was minimalized and SARS was minimalized. But for some reason, this thing is changing the way the Western world is living.
But even that, and they've explained that in the beginning, is SARS and swine flu were not nearly as contagious as this. This is that's I mean, this is what they're saying. You know what I mean? Is that it spreads way faster and way easier than the flu, than swine flu, and then SARS. You know, and that's what made it so dangerous, and that's why we went to these lockdowns. But who
Maybe
knows?
nature's just finding a way.
And it will.
You know, I mean, we talked about the destruction of the Earth. Nobody's talked about the fact that the polar ice caps are rebuilding themselves because that's not newsworthy. That doesn't feed an agenda. But the polar ice caps are indeed reforming, and whatever warming we've seen up there seems to be slowing to a crawl. So, you know, I get that we have to politicize things because that's just in our nature, but it's hard not to think about why this one's different.
There was a doctor on Joe Rogan. When this all first started, Joe Rogan had gotten this guy who was he's the director of research and fucking something of infectious diseases. Top guy.
Official title?
Huh? Yeah.
Official title?
Yeah. No, he's like a top guy. And he went in there, and one of the questions halfway through the show, he asked him, "Is this a biological weapon? Did somebody create this?" Right. And he said, "Well, listen," and that's where he said, things are messed with and tampered with for the reasons of finding vaccines, finding how they do this stuff. He says, but no, it's not man-made. He goes, because trust me, there's no reason for us to make a virus because Mother Nature does it way better than we ever have.
That's fair.
And he said,
That's fair.
it's a lot easier just to go find one than to genetically engineer it. You know what I mean? He says it's way easier. Mother Nature does it better than we ever could.
Yeah, you just gotta go fuck a monkey and you're good.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Or
And
you gotta make a
what
movie with John
great way
Travolta.
and that's our closing. Me and Craig could speculate and add to the noise all we want, but in reality, we know nothing.
it's John Travolta's fault
nothing.
and
We're
Fred Durst.
Fuck Fred
They
Durst.
are the plague fucking destroying the fucking planet right now.
No. They might be the disease, but who are we blaming? It's not the disease itself. We're blaming the guy that spread it. You.
Patient zero.
You at home aren't seeing this, but I'm pointing right to his Zoom
Yeah.
box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the upper right corner, and that's where he's going to
Patient
stay.
zero of shitty movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Fred Durst is the open sore and John Travolta's the ooze coming out of it.
Amen.
And Craig's the one that didn't wash
man,
his hands.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Mike is the narrator.
But
All right, well let's put a fork in
Yep.
this one, folks. I'm sitting on 4 hours of raw audio right now. So Craig, good luck
It's
with
good
this.
that he has nothing to do.
Yeah.
yeah.
You got your work cut out for you. But for those of you at home that aren't aware of the amount of work that Craig puts in, you can go visit the all new needless to say podcast.com and see just how good of a work he does. That's kind of not only our latest episodes, but also kind of a curated section of lists about some of our better moments, some of the things, if you're new to the show, if some of our own favorites, go check them out. We also are going to be adding sections to that, interviews we've done, people we've met, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of more things coming there, and we're going to get a better website soon. I promise. I apologize. It's kind of shitty. Swag Shop, go over to represent.com/store/NTS podcast. Stimulate our economy. Begging you. Fucking begging you. What's crazy is that I'm the only one who ever wears our own merchandise on the air, but I want you to definitely go check it out.
I usually wear my hat.
Well, no, that wasn't merchandise. I bought that for you guys as a gift, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
All right.
But nobody else knew that.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah, well, now they do
No.
because they're all going to be like, where's that hat
secret's
I
out.
can't buy?
Yeah.
Check us out on social media so you can tell us how our merchandise sucks. On Twitter at NTS_podcast. On Facebook at NTS_podcast. And on Instagram where Dave is masturbating daily at all lowercase, needless to say, podcast. Dave, tell me a little bit about Endeavor Podcast Solutions simply because you added nothing to the last segment.
Well, I'll just add that our sponsor, Endeavor Podcast Solutions, can help you with anything podcast related. They can help you get started, give you ideas, help you with editing, anything that you need to do to get your podcast up and running or to improve it. Our friends at EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com will help you out.
Also, I'd like to throw an additional shout this week to all the bands making music online and keeping people happy. Obviously, our friends in Cycle, not only are Seth and Kaz doing separate things, but they're continuing to work towards the release of their new album, Kill the Machine. So thanks to those guys for keeping everything light and keeping us engaged and entertained. Same thing goes to the guys down in Virginia and One Slack Mind. I know Deceased is working on some things to release to the public. Everybody is coming together to, at the very least, make these times at home
easier,
a little bit better. And they're friends of us, and they should be friends of yours.
Yep, that's it.
Absolutely.
So with that, Craig, you are the one that came up with this disastrous outline, so it's only right that you take us out.
Needless to say, we said it.
Do you have a great idea for a podcast? Or maybe you already have a podcast, but you're getting overwhelmed with editing or production? Head over to EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. They have everything you need, from intros and outros to editing work, voiceover, you name it. That's EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. Podcasting simplified.